Hi, my name's Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about your plans and how, without God incorporated into your plans, how they can be easily destroyed. Yay! No, not yay. What? In this video, some people are gonna be like, there goes Stone Man again. You don't need God to have your plans, etc. Because some people really do think that, but coming from all the people that I've helped, coming from everything that works for me to be very successful, and just different people who I've helped in different situations have all found a common trend as to certain plans who some people think it's just the evil eye when sometimes it's just because there's an absence of God. Now, this applies to relationships as well. This applies to your future plans, your past plans, your present plans, etc. It's a very important thing to include God in your plans. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is when you're making plans, everything's always listening to you all the time. Always. I'd like you to take a second to really think about that, because even think about that's like, okay, you're always being listened. There's always something listening to you. There's always something watching you. There's always something around you. There's always something recording everything you're doing, always, spiritually. So in this lifetime, you think you're in a room alone. I'm not trying to spook you out, but there's thousands of things in the spiritual realm just looking at you like this. Including, thousands is minimum, because there's a whole bunch more. But see, the thing with attention and light and focus, depending on what you're doing, everything can always hear you. The other side is all connected. It's a giant microphone. That's why when I tell you guys, when you swear, things who hear that word are like, oh, okay, I know this word. So bad entities will come over to when someone swears. They're like, oh, something exciting. Something very exciting. So the thing is, when you make plans and they don't have God in them, the devil's also listening in. He's like, for the people who don't see my ear very often because I cover my hair covers my ears, but the devil's always listening in. He's just chiming in, and you better believe the devil has to go through God. The devil can't go around God, and that is mentioned in the Bible several times too, which I'm actually writing down everything in every detail. So in the future, I'll be able to have 100% of. I'll just do videos of just where you see what, but I don't want to even stumble on a single word, so I'm going to do that in future videos. But you've been listening to all the time. Your plans, things that you encounter on your day-to-day life, and if you're someone who prays when you wake up in the morning, you probably do it every single day because you 100% know how your day might go if you don't pray. The only one day I forgot to pray because I fell asleep and I woke up and I ran out in a rush was the craziest day. It was full-fledged Florida without protections. Even with your tourmaline, because tourmaline protects you from stuff, but guess who made the tourmaline? God made it. So you have to realize that everything's always listening to you. You ever wonder what your angels are doing? Like your guardian angels literally they don't smother you, but they stand very closely to us. They literally, they're literally almost on top of us. Sometimes we have an angel or a guide literally directly on our head. Why is it there? It's because if it wasn't, something else would be taken over. If you ever pay attention to people with dark guides, like demonic guides, those people always have the weirdest head sensations. They always have headaches. They always have something that's wrong with their head because that guide is of darkness, and certain spiritual laws don't really run with the physical and etheric body in ways that are favorable. So with all of this said, what am I saying? I'm telling you guys that things, including the devil, all these earthbound spirits, because you have monitor spirits listening all the time, unless you're using tourmaline from FloridaStoneman.com, or amethyst to help preserve your thoughts from being read, because thoughts are very easily read. People don't even know how to read their own thoughts, but other people can read their thoughts better than some people can read their own thoughts. Sounds trippy, but I'll make more videos about telepathy, but you have to incorporate God into your plans. You have, because I don't know everything. You don't know everything. You can't calculate certain avenues or paths or just, you can't see certain things. You just flat out can't. You really cannot. So if you think you're going to be able to do stuff by yourself, you won't. You might do some things by yourself, but you can't account everything into being 100% covered. That's what God is for. And yes, God. Go straight to God before your angels, before all your other guides, because He's the one who allows them to do stuff and armors them. Sometimes your angels can do extra really cool things. They can literally, pretty much abduct people. And I'll have a story to tell in the future, but for people giving you trouble, they can literally drag them away, like an invisible rope pulling the person away. Some of the stuff I've seen is, that's a future story for a future video, but it's God who's doing it. And that's what I say in that video where I talked about that is God is God. He can do whatever He wants. If He really wants to protect someone who asks protections of Him, then He's going to do everything to protect that person. And nothing can bypass Him because He's God. He's the Most High. He is above everything else. Now, when it comes to your plans, and you making plans, even you just thinking about the plans, you have monitor spirits already tuned in unless you're wearing amethyst, unless you have amethyst all around your room. Now, that idea is kind of out there. So if you had the idea, so has a bunch of other people you've encountered throughout the day. And this is super, super interesting. One thing I notice, because I teach methods with scratch off, and if you ever see me around, the methods really work, but sometimes people's angels will be screaming for these people in line to play a certain number, and all these people are just, they'll have a number pop in all their heads at the same time, because they don't really have spiritual protections like that. So these people are getting mad at each other because they're all trying to play the same number, because they had the intuition, but they're trying, like, the number is being bought out. And it's just funny. I just find it funny, but the thing is, it's not funny at the same time because your thoughts are just open. So when you're thinking about a plan, something's already intervening on it as soon as you think about it, let alone when you say it out loud, it's like that times 20. Now, how can you avoid this? Well, you go to God, you ask Him to seal and protect your plans, you incorporate God into your plans. So, and you can go further than that too. You can somehow find a place for God at the event. So if you're doing a large event, have at least one thing at the event that contributes moving people closer to God. It's not that much to ask. So if, for example, I'll give you guys an example. And for the people in Florida, I don't know if you guys don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but there's a festival in Florida that was supposed to be happening today or this weekend, and something just flooded it. Come to find out, there's not one out of all these different things at that one event. Nothing circled around. I mean, nothing at all involves God, and this is a common trend for weddings. Who I see who have God at the center of the weddings or God around the weddings, because sometimes they'll have a priest sometimes they'll have a good priest who actually is there to do the vows correctly versus just a priest who doesn't care, who's just showing up, because there's a difference. I have to talk about that in a future video too, but people are like, what's the point? It's that when you involve God into your plans authentically, your plans will be protected. Because everything's always listening. The devil's always listening to your plans. How many times have you guys had a plan and it just didn't turn out the way you wanted to, or it seems like did the plan get evil eye and there's no evil eye the plan, and the plans are getting shot down and you're like, what's going on? Now, this is a major difference. Here, this is a very important point. If you've made a plan and it seems like and you included God in the plan, like you asked God for help with the plan. You included God in the plan. You basically went before the Lord and said, okay, can you please help me with this event? Can you please help me with this? It could be a birthday party. It could be just a general plan, a general event. And it doesn't go as expected. You know what that means? Can you guys guess? It means your plan got redirected. Remember, a protection is a blessing from a redirection. The easiest way to say this is that you think your plan was the best plan. It got redirected. So you asked for help, and now you're being put in better pastures. I'll give you an example. I plan to take photo shoots sometimes. I'll do photo shoots of the jewelry that goes on my website that you guys love so much. But recently, I got Karened by a male on the beach who is being a Karen. Like, this beach is like, you can't take pictures on the beach. This is not right. And I'm like, and I asked God for help with the plan. So I've been put at 2 or 3 new spots, which I'm still allowed on the beach because it's the beach. It's literally you pay for public parking and then you go in the water with about a couple of 100 people on the beach. I don't think he liked crystals or I don't know what the deal was. It didn't really matter. I wasn't really bothered by that. But I went to the next spot over and the background was gorgeous. The sun shines through more. There's really nice people in the park because there's a park. There's actually a few parks. There's multiple parks, but I was only staying at one. I was being versatile, so my plans went better than expected. Now, for example, if I ask to do a video and it's pouring rain, I'm like, okay. I ask for help from God, and then I do my video, but I do it at home or I do it in a different way. It's small things, guys. It's not the biggest things. The biggest thing in the entire world, when people go throughout communicating with God, people expect the most biggest thing. Like the same thing why most people cannot connect to their angels or their guides is because they expect the giant signs. When if those signs have to be giant, then something's wrong, or they shouldn't be too giant unless it's a giant new chapter of your life. But even then, the small signs are the biggest and the most important ones and the most stable ones. So, and because I read the Bible in depth, I study it in depth, especially Genesis. And one of the chapters in Genesis, someone online, and you might see my comments on other parts of YouTube, like Florida Stoneman commented here. But yeah, so one woman was like, "Why isn't God talking to me like she did with?" I mean, why is it? Because God had a different way of talking to people back then, before Christ. So he would literally talk to people directly, and people are like, why isn't God talking to me like that? Like, why isn't he talking directly? Because he doesn't have to, and that's not going to be the most helpful thing for you. Jesus died on the cross, and at the time, people were in disbelief. Think about now. If it literally happened in front of people, and people didn't believe it when it happened directly in front of them, what's going to change? So, you have to take into account that the signs that you're going to get from God are small. And they should be small. Because you don't want the giant, huge signs, because even then, the giant, huge signs are something you don't really, most people won't really believe. So the little things are the big things, but once you're open to the little tiny things, when a big thing comes along, it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome. And that's the thing. So even if it's the smallest plan, okay, I'm going to go to work, or if some of you are going to do something, I'm going to go to an event, I'm going to make an event, I'm going to do this thing for this person. Maybe you're a photographer and like, maybe, okay, you're doing this there. Okay, anything. It could be the smallest thing. My event today is, and I'm not talking about major events. My event is going to the park was my example. People like to go to the movies. Okay. Even the smallest event, because I remember way back then when I used to go to movies, if you don't ask for protections or to include God into wherever you're going, then anything can occur. So you show up at the movies, you think it's just going to be a nice movie. Now there's a whole line of teenagers cackling, yelling, screaming, throwing stuff, causing trouble, and you're like, it's supposed to be a peaceful movie, but you're watching teenagers ruin the movie for you. So the devil can send his agents, which are people just not of God. And I made videos about that too. If you're not of God, if you're not a person of God, and if you haven't understood it by now, my entire channel is moving you guys closer to God in ways that is authentic to authentically get you challenging your beliefs and challenging what you do and utilizing things that he has put on this beautiful earth for us to use, such as the crystals that he makes, which you can get from FloridaStoneman.com. But that's the thing. Everything you do should have God involved in it. And I hear people all the time saying, well, I'll talk to him on Sunday. He's around you right now. He's in you. He's all around you. And people get stuck on the part of God's in us. Okay, he's in everything, but most importantly, he's above us. God is the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Especially for people of, because I know there's people who don't follow Christianity or any form of Christianity and don't have access to it, but God presents himself in multiple ways. So he has different ways of presenting himself. It's been said before. Like, he knows that some people in different parts of the world will not be able to access him. So there's always a way for people to move closer to a higher version of themselves, no matter where they are. So if certain things don't apply to you in this video, then something will apply to you in the sense of moving you closer to your highest good and moving you closer to God in whatever way that you're able to. And it might not just be through Christianity, which, coming from a Christian, that's the way I teach it, and that's the way, and my angels help me learn, and that's the way that I'm able to move people way closer to God. But I know for the people who are in different parts of the world, because people will ask, how do I get a Bible? I'm in this part of the world. I'm like, I don't know. So I'm still figuring that out because I don't really have an answer for that, but there's always some kind of access for people to move closer to God. Even if it's just talking to God, and ask God, God, can you please help me find an authentic way to move me closer to you? You'll find a way. It will pop into your life. You'll meet mystery people who sometimes are not even actual people. They're actual, because I will make a video for that in the future, but he'll send his angels, and they'll keep charge over thee in all thy ways. And I'm loving this. I'm loving my messages, helping you guys move closer to God. It's really important because we, as humans, we think we know everything, but if we actually knew everything, then we'd be exactly wherever our goal is right now. So humble ourselves, understand that God loves us, and everything we do through him will be wonderful and amazing, and you can expect nothing but the best. Be a good person. Be an authentic person. Love thy neighbor. Just be the best version of yourself you could possibly be. And pass these messages along, because these will really help people. Sometimes I've talked to people who, even before I prescribe, normally when I say prescribe, because I'm people say crystal, not a witch doctor, but a crystal doctor. But I'm not a medical doctor. I don't teach anything medical, okay? So I know YouTube with the keywords is like an AI algorithm looking for the word doctor. So for the AI, disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor. I do know how to go around certain barriers that online puts up though, but the whole message of this video is to incorporate God into your day-to-day life, into your every activity, into your every plan. When you wake up in the morning, I highly suggest you talk to God. You say, okay, my plan is to get into my car. You'll drive to, let's just say you're driving to the sauna. Your plans plus God. That's it. If you can actually, I don't tell you guys to test anything out like that, but when I said in this video, for the people who make God a part of their daily plans and add God into every one of their plans, those people, and you know who you are if you're watching this video. You forget to pray one day, you forget to add God into your plans one day. How do those plans go? They're very obvious. I'm not going to tell you guys if you like to try find out, because you're not supposed to. Don't play with God. But the thing is, if you're someone who consistently adds God to your plans, but you accidentally didn't add him to certain plans, it's very obvious. So the people who know that. That's a part of their being. So essentially incorporating God into all of your plans, even the little ones to the giant ones, will make a major difference. Guys, if you have any questions at all, ask them in the comment section. And what I teach actually works. So this will help you guys move to the highest version of yourselves. The people who disagree with my information, oh, you don't need God to improve your life. You don't need God to do better. You don't need God for anything. We are our own gods. We are our own higher power. Those people live in mental, spiritual, and emotional just disarray. I mean, I'm not telling you guys at all. Just, I'm not forcing my beliefs at all on any one of you. But the thing is, people like that are not in the happiest of places, and they're struggling, and all that they needed was God to move closer. I mean, them to move closer to God in their lives. It's that simple. If you have any questions, guys, add them in the comment section. I hope this video has helped you. I'm very strict when it comes to teaching, but I know it works, I know it doesn't work. I know what puts people in a happier place, and I know it tears people apart. Ego, pride, thinking people know everything is going to tear people apart. The second you start adding God to everything you do and moving closer to God, the happier your life will go, the more you're able to help the lives of your families and friends, and the better your afterlife will be as well. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!